to another oil painting video. Today we will be painting woman looking out a window. This is a 16 by 20 inch cotton canvas that has been prepared ahead of time for painting. As you can see, the surface is wet and ready to go. So let's go ahead and start with a drawing. With this one, I'm definitely going to want to draw a tad bit more than what I was doing previously. So I'm going to be using a size 4 filbert bristle brush. That's what this is, with just a dark brown color. So, hey Gigi, hey Shay, welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna suppose the top of the head's gonna fit over there. Top of the head is over here. So she's looking out the window. Her hair is gonna fit somewhere over there. Suppose that's gonna be the proportion of the head. Shoulder is gonna land somewhere over here. There's a hand where she's leaning on her chin. Right there. Hey Mario, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining the live stream. The other arm is gonna land over here. Hand land over here. There's that arm over here. What do you say we move the face slightly to the left? Which will make it bigger. Not necessarily because I'm moving it to the left, but because I'm just drawing. Chin is gonna land here. That seems a little bit better. I'm thinking more about placement and composition right now, and how the placement relates to the composition. The all-important window frame is going to land right here. That's going to be the window frame. Okay, so this is a realistic proportion for the arm. This time, I don't want to elongate the arm. So this is a realistic proportion for the arm relative to the head. Okay, chest is gonna land somewhere over there. Neck. Dark shape for the shoulder, where the hair is gonna land. Hey Mark L. Welcome, welcome. I'll blur that out. Clavicle. Again, chest is going to land over here. Okay. Shoulder. Elbow. Now this elbow. So I've slowed down with the drawing significantly today. This is very vital that I get this right. Okay. That's the correct width now. This hand is going to land here. Remember, the hands start off very simple, just like a mitten. Okay, so if the chest lands over here, I'm going to put a line, a construction line, just so I know where the chest is lining up. Right about there. This curves down. Model's back. This curves up. Okay, so there should be some of the chest showing here, and I think I got that right. I'm using this brush as kind of an eraser. Chest is gonna land over there. Okay, that's a little bit better for the shoulder. So I'm gonna say that the shoulder is gonna land here, and it's about plumb on a horizontal relative to the wrist. Plumb meaning they just match horizontal. Obviously plumb lines are vertical, but that's just what I'm saying. Hand. Okay, so the hair is up here. Edge of the face. Okay. Wrist over here. I'm gonna put an angle here for the elbow. That's a little angle for that. Pinky. Again, it starts off like a mitten. Okay, this gives me that angle. That's good. Dress that she's wearing has got we're gonna say some kind of red checker kind of thing. And that line matches up with the chest. That's good. Okay, so the window in perspective, this is gonna go this way. Platform for what she's leaning on. The outside part of the frame. All of this is going to be empty. This is going to be the quiet space of the composition. Okay, there we go. Hair down here. Hair goes all the way down here. This is good. Shadow down here. Double check the elbow. Drop the elbow a little bit. Okay, that's good. Which, by the way, this is a bigger canvas, so you see my head is kind of over here. So I'm looking up at this, so there's a little bit of distortion based on my position. Again, feel free to mute me if that construction is gonna bother you. Okay, so that's good for that. Now let's go ahead and place the features of the face. Now this is all relative to the hand, because I need to make sure that the face fits. Let's say that the eye socket is going to land here. Just kind of a realistic place relative to the top of the head. Nose is over here. Just your standard profile. Model's lip matches right with the hand. So pretty good placement so far. Nothing too far off yet. We'll see. We shall see. Dark for the hair. Okay, so that's about good. Neck over here. Okay, now let's add some light. This is just a pinkish warm color. Eye socket shape. Nose is gonna land over here. So with the profile view, you want to be very exacting with the outside shape. And now I can go ahead and zoom you in to the face, as we're going to spend a little bit of time with the face now. Basically the face and the shoulder for now. So this color mixture is as simple as burnt sienna white, ultramarine blue. I have added a little bit of lead white to this mixture, and I pre-mixed it on my palette before streaming, so I had enough of it to start. Eyelid. Nose is a little bit big, but we can fix that easily with a clean brush. I got some cheap brushes that I don't mind using to just dirty up, potentially not even clean. Side plane of the face. The mouth is going to land right here. We're going to ignore the mouth. Paint the chin. Okay, so there is the side of the face now. Let's get to the hand. It's important. Now this matches right up to the mouth. Top plane of the mitten that we will start the hand off with. The light should match with the bottom of the chin. Okay, so this gives us the edge of the face. Now we work our way down towards the other hand. Okie dokie. Now we've made it down towards the hand. Now we'll start to block in the other hand. pinky. So quite a difficult drawing, so that's why I spent a little bit more time. And the references that I've chosen, of course I will be modifying things through imagination, but all of the imagery that I've got in mind for this week is going to require a little more drawing than the week before. Okay, so we kind of skipped the claw a little bit and went right in with the shapes for the fingers, because the gesture of this hand is kind of important. Raise this finger. So there might be a little trepidation here, maybe some anxiety showing through. And as per request from viewers, I won't mute the audio today. Again, that's why I put that little note. Wrist bone. This elbow should meet right there. And there's going to be a sleeve over here, so we really don't need that much detail there. Shoulder. Oh, you're curious about the Springtime Sadness title? Oh, it was a play on Summertime Sadness, song by Lana Del Rey. That's why I chose Springtime Sadness. It was just a play on that song. Shoulder. I need more of a gap for the shoulder. This is incorrect. Just drops here, which again gives me the neck. The neck is kind of important, even though you don't see it, you gotta visualize it. Visualize the placement. Okay, alright. You said which was a good title to get you to look closer. Oh, good. That's good. I'm glad that worked. But yeah, it's just a play on a Lana Del Rey song. Light on the shoulder. Now, light back of the arm. Yeah, anatomy comes in handy. A little light on the back here. Mostly a lot of years of figure drawing. Lots of years of figure drawing. Zoom you out now. see the placement starting to make sense. Now I'm going to switch brushes and we're going to block in the dress and the background. I'm going to go in with alizarin crimson, just alizarin crimson, as we're using the alla prima technique. We will paint right into this as we go. Okay, sleeve, back side of the elbow. Where she's leaning on the table. Okie dokie. Now while we have this brush, let's go ahead and use a dark brownish color for the hair. That's about good. Now I want kind of a muted red, so I'm gonna not clean the brush and I'm gonna use what's already on the brush, and I'm adding straight up cadmium red light. This is going to be kind of a off cream red once we paint the detail in. Again, there should be light here. So I'm putting the cadmium red light with whatever was on the brush first. Okay, now we've got that. I'm going to get the big brush. We're going to call it red. And right here, it's going to be the dark of the background. Less pressure makes this less dark, so we can have some interesting effects back there. There we go. Got the dark for the background there. And I'm gonna go with straight up phthalo. Straight up phthalo blue outside of the window. Because there's gonna be a lot of little leaves back here. So we want to paint the leaves with some yellow directly. Now using the same brush but not cleaning it, this is going to be a dark plane. Another dark plane is going to be up here, which gives us the position where we're going to paint the leaves. Without cleaning the brush, we are going to use burnt sienna. And we're going to add a little bit of red. Let this mix directly on here. Maybe some black. Like that. And this is going to give us the edge of the window. Edge of the window is going to be there. Again, appreciate all the support, all the super chats from before, from last week. That has made it possible for me to buy a proper sized brush for this kind of stuff. Now we have the dark for this. Dark for this shape here. Now you see the window starting to be like kind of a thing now. Just like that. Hey, Owling Dog Design. Welcome, welcome. Okay, what do you say? Now we put in the color for the table that she's leaning on. So we're gonna mix kind of on the spot. I'm not going to clean this brush, so I've added a little bit of alizarin with black. Now she's leaning on this, so this should be dark now. And there might be a little gap for some light back here to show something back there. Okay, so let's say that this part gets darker. It's right above her head, so you might want to make that darker. And just let it almost paint her head right out. It doesn't matter. We're gonna paint right back onto that, so who cares? At least we have the drawing situated. Okay, so here is your so-called bravery test. I'm going to eliminate part of the drawing, but I'm going to save the placement for the eye. So that we can cover the dark. The hand will remain there. And we've almost got the big shapes blocked in. Almost. This is going to be kind of a brownish color. Be careful not to lose the hand. Okay, so that is good. It's gonna be a little plain. Just a hint of something over here. Okay, whatever's on this brush, I'll just use the shadow of the shoulder. Just whatever's on the brush. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add the top of the head back. Should be some light for the light parts of the hair. And just like that, we've got the big shapes locked in place. What do you say? What do you say we put a reflection over here? Say that there's some glass or something there reflecting the model. That red color. Hey Janice. What's going on, everybody? Say that's reflecting over here. Now let's really punch this dark shape. Pushing that dark. Okay. Now we can go in and put some subtlety or some form on the face. So on the palette, I am going to mix a little string of value from left to right. Left will be dark, right will be light. And the mixtures are very simple, just as easy as burnt sienna white, ultramarine blue. However, I do have a lot of colors on my palette, so I won't be using exactly that. I'm going to have a light, middle, and a dark brush. And I am using a lead white along with my titanium white. The lead white I'm using is Rublev Lead White number 2. I don't recommend it to anyone unless they have some experience with oil painting, because you don't want to mess with lead unless you've got the experience to use it. It's not worth the risk, but it does create some really nice effects when you're mixing the middle tone range. Okay, so now I have the palette organized. Dark, middle, and light, exactly that. I'll zoom you in, and we'll spend some quality time developing the shapes for the face. dark shapes first. We'll punch the dark for the background a little bit. We cannot have light without dark. That's simple. Now we're going to use this same value to start to paint the side plane of the cheekbone. But less pressure makes this less bright. Or should I say less pressure makes it less dark. Less pressure on the brush will allow more of this color to show. And the light brush. Painting these planes really simple. Remodeling. I don't know what they're doing. The management said they're working on the roof, but I'm on the 14th floor and there's 16 stories, so I don't know what they're doing. Dark for underneath of the mouth. Put in some shapes for the hands. There's a pinky. It's gonna land over there. Edge of the hand. Yeah, I've got headphones on. Let's try to block that sound out. It's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate. A little bit of color variation. I'm going to add a cooler note to the eyebrow, or right underneath the eyebrow. Top plane of the eye socket. I can't even hear myself think with this noise. So I have many different brushes. Light brush, middle brush, dark brush, a brush for the reds, a brush for the light of the skin tones. So all this was thought of ahead of time. Oh, thanks, Gigi. I hope it's only temporary. I can't really know for sure. I can't know for sure. Of course, the reflection is going to have some more definition to it. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I need some noise canceling headphones. I just got the regular kind. little bit of light on the nose. Adjust the shape of the nose. Oh, good, Tipu. I'm glad you can hear me. Yeah, it's loud. Spotify knows I'm feeling down. We've got Avril Lavigne Complicated playing on my headphones. I am from that generation. For the portrait with this one, even though it's a profile, I'm going to try to push it a little bit further. You can see the light starting to do its thing. The window light. Hey, Helen STYX. Thank you. I tried to draw a little bit more this time. I knew that this was going to be complicated. I've chosen some really tough ones this week, everybody, so stay tuned. I've only posted 3 streams, though. Lucy's on spring break Thursday. So she's got Thursday and Friday off, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do Thursday and Friday. But we've got 3 real complicated ones this week. Oh, look at that. It's already been an hour. So an hour and 3 minutes. Anybody that may be new, I typically play a video. I've got a couple of them that I cycle through. I need to film some new ones, but I'll play a video for you during the break. And then when we return, we will continue this painting. Got some little hints of red for the hands. Let me put in a reflection for the background first before I go. There should be more of a silhouette like that. Something like that. So add some more blue. Never mind. Just a little reflection back here. It just adds something, I don't know. It just frames this part. Again, I don't really stick to any one reference. I use reference to help me figure out what I'm painting, but then I modify things as I go. At least we know the entire background is covered. Okay, I don't like this light here, so I'm going to take it out. Okay, just want to make sure we're in a good point to return and continue to develop the subtleties. Okay. Alrighty. And this will be for the reflection of the arm. Okay, so not bad for the first hour and 6 minutes. I could have painted a little faster, but I prioritized the drawing. At least the drawing is all right, I guess. I hope it is. I'm looking at this length. This length seems to be working relative to the head. So I think we're okay. Hey, Shabu. Okie dokie, everybody. This is a good now time to let Yupari take a break. We will return soon. And I'm going to play one of those videos for you. Okay, so good enough, good enough. I usually kind of have like a look that I want for the first hour. Okay. Alrighty. Decent stopping point now. So I'm going to play a video for you. And don't worry, I won't disappear completely. I will be back in 5 to 7 minutes. Hopefully you will enjoy the break time video. Perspective means things that are closer to you are going to be bigger. If this is a box that's close to you, it's going to be bigger. But if the same box is further away, it's going to look smaller. And add to that, if that box is even further away, well, now it's going to look tiny. And in perspective, say they're on a railroad, like this is your little railroad, and you have a train that is driving on this railroad. Suppose the train is just a box. These lines, the railroad lines, let's call them, will converge to what is known as a vanishing point. So not drawn to scale there, but you see these things will converge. So how will this translate to a portrait? Well, it's really simple. If you look at a face, this is the center line of a face. This is the axis for the eyes. This is the axis for the nose. This is the axis for the mouth. These are parallel lines. They're railroads. So every time your head turns, for example, then this is going to turn like that. Things are going to turn. Now, obviously, not drawn to scale. So as the perspective changes, if your head is tipped up, see how small this section is and how big this one is. So your center line would look something like that with your ears all the way back here, and you would see the bottom of your nose over there. So that would be your little cartoon character if your forehead looks further away. And this is something called foreshortening, when things look smaller in perspective. That happens with things like arms, like the forearm would look small in perspective. It's going to be foreshortened here, whereas it won't be foreshortened here. So that's how perspective is going to affect things. Now, the next thing is to think about proportion. And we talked about that in another video, but proportion is a judgment between distances. Say this is A and this is B. Obviously, you know that A is bigger than B, but you know that A is not 3 times bigger than B, A is not 5 times bigger than B, and A is not necessarily half, but it's kind of close to half. B is kind of a little more than half of A. But now if we throw something in a third point, which would be C, now C is potentially 2 times the length of B. It doesn't have to be all that mathematical, but again, when you look at something like a face, for example, there's the forehead, there's the nose, and then there's the mouth somewhere over here, and then this curves in, and then there's the chin, right? The wing of the nose would be here, and then maybe there's an eye over here, and then the eyebrows over here. Now you have relative distances to one another. So this distance from the eye to the nose would be A, the distance from the nose to the mouth would be B, and then maybe the distance from the eyes to the chin would be C, and then you would relate these distances to one another. So that's proportion. The next one is going to be, we're going to talk about value. Value is really simple, basically how light or how dark something is. So for example, if we look at this little value scale, you see the light here, and then the dark. It starts to get dark, and then you have some middle values. How light or how dark something is. What matters the most is your distinction right here between light and shadow. Things that are closer to the light, meaning facing the light more, will be brighter. Things that are further away will be darker. But the most important thing is to have the distinction between light and shadow. Of course, my hair is not cooperating right now. But when it comes to other parts of values, you can actually look at it really simple in terms of bands of value. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different values. You don't even have to look at the numbers based on this, but you could easily say this is 1 and this is 5, and everything in between, well, you already know, 2, 3, and 4. That's value, but value is then attributed to something that we're going to look at, which is the final thing of the 4 basic things we're going to look at, and this is going to be form of a sphere. Pretend that I can draw a circle, which obviously I cannot, but many of you have seen this before, and this is going to be a pretty simple recap for you. So the light travels and hits a plane that is the most perpendicular to the light source. So this is perpendicular. It is at a 90-degree angle relative to this point here. This is going to be your highlight region of this little demo sphere. And anything that is parallel to this light plane, will enter into the shadow. So everything here that is beyond being parallel to the light is going to be in the shadow. This is light, this is shadow. So values that transition away from this point will start to get darker as they approach the shadow. And so this is what's going to make things look round, and you're going to have to visualize almost like a strip of bacon where each plane is. Now suppose there's a cast shadow here under the strip of bacon, and you're going to say maybe the light's coming from the same direction. So this is the brightest area on this little strip of bacon, and then it starts to get darker out here. So that is going to be how light is going to travel around that. Alrighty, let's continue this painting now, and I'm thinking I'll spend a little bit more time with the environment till I get it a little bit further. So it looks like the construction may have stopped or slowed down, I don't know, so I'm going to take my headphones off. Hey Barbara. Oh, I'm glad you liked the videos. Thanks for joining. I'm using just the silver brushes, but yesterday I bought a big one. You might be wondering about the big one. This is a Princeton Redline brush, the 2-inch brush. Yeah, it's a 2-inch brush. it works pretty good to cover stuff. This is the first day I'm using it though, so I can't really like vouch for it, like if it's any good. But let's use it to block in some shapes here. Okay. So a little bit more for the environment. So yeah, a 2-inch brush is kind of a lot. Right, Jonas? I didn't get a big bristle brush because... Oh, there goes the construction. I didn't get a big bristle brush because I feel like the hairs will fall off over time. So this is kind of like a synthetic. So quite a variety. We have a brush like this and then a brush like this. So we've got a variety now, especially with these big canvases. 1620 is pretty big for a 3-hour painting. See if we can push the dark a little bit darker. I think we can. Okay, that's good for that. Now, let's go ahead and put some form on the hand. Regret taking off my headphones. I will put them back. Now, I usually don't get to this level with the hands, but we will put some fingernails here. First, I need the nail bed. Hey, Hansel dog. Let's say these nails are gonna be blue. A little bit of blue. Lights on the nails. Titanium white, not the lead white for this. Gonna have to add more dark to that one. can already tell there might be a story attached to this painting. Lady in a red dress looking out the window. Could be she's waiting for someone. Could be she's contemplating something. Could be she's just admiring the birds outside. But now you see a story will start to emerge. Add the light for the dress, which is going to be kind of a white, pink, a light pink. BA Hamdinger, welcome. I will zoom out. Okay, now for the window. And this is just a mixture of lead white, cadmium yellow, which actually is a cadmium yellow substitute, so it's kind of weak. Next time I'll buy the actual cadmium yellow. Raw umber to neutralize it. And I believe I put in a tad bit of lemon yellow. And of course, whatever was already on this brush, as I don't clean the brushes. I keep them in linseed oil. And I'll switch to the skin tone brush. We're gonna add a light blue touch to the window, the edge of the window. Well, thanks, Celeste, for the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Really appreciate the support, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today is Monday. Happy Monday, that's correct. I almost forgot to post the links to the streams. I did end up posting the link on at I think I don't know, like 12 today or something like that. Almost forgot. So what do you say we move ourselves from the window to the wall, or the back end of the wall? Could be glass. Anyway, choice of words, pun intended. If anyone hasn't seen that that funny the guy in the elevator, or not the elevator, the guy in the metro that was singing that song, I think he had one too many that night. It was really funny. Oh, good. I'm glad you saw all 3 links. Yeah, I almost forgot. Like I said, it's spring break for Lucy, so there's a chance I may not be able to stream Thursday and Friday. I'm not quite sure of our plans. She works for the school system, so whenever they have time off, she also gets time off. Yeah, that's funny. Of course, Lucy is very important. Of course, she is. But in reality, is anything more important than painting? Probably not. But no, family is family. Well, it could be that the shoulder's messed up. And you probably don't like this shape on the drapery. So I can adjust it. Have I gifted yeah, I gifted paintings to my family members when I was in high school, but I quickly stopped gifting paintings pretty much after the age of 17. I stopped giving paintings as gifts when I realized that I was going to be, pursuing it professionally. Yeah, if I keep making mistakes with the drawing, I'm probably gonna pre-draw before going live, just to save myself some time. It should be light over here. So yeah, I may do some pre-drawing in the future. I may have to do one for tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream is gonna be real tough. I might even chicken out of the idea that I have in mind. I may chicken out. But tomorrow's is gonna be real tough. Okay. So I think we've done enough stuff to the background. Now we can zoom into the face. I won't make any promises for tomorrow, but yeah, I have an idea with a lady next to a horse. I don't know if I'm gonna go through with that. One's gonna be tough, like real tough. Not that this one isn't tough, but that one's gonna be on another level difficulty. Let me see if I can zoom you a little more. Actually, I can't. Never mind. My streaming software locked up. Okay. Well, that's not good. Let me know if something cuts off, because currently my streaming software is locked. Yeah, if I pre-draw, it won't be as difficult. That's true. Yeah, GG it's gonna be tough. Alright, let's get the brushes ready. I'm spending some time mixing this color. It's a dark brown with some hints of red, but it can't be too red. And we've got 3 minutes till the next break. So we did a lot on the background. The background's almost completely done. And we'll spend the rest of the time developing the face, the hands, and fixing anything on the shoulder there that needs more attention. Now I got my streaming software to cooperate again. I was scared for a second there. closed captioning? I have no clue. I don't even know how that works on the stream. Is there something missing on the stream that's usually there, or what did I do wrong? I don't know. I'm not too tech savvy. I should be. It's odd how this canvas looks bigger to me when it's turned over this way. I actually kind of like this now. I like what's going on with this. I hate what's going on with the background noise, but I have no control over that. The CC will be available to recording only. I don't know, what, the closed captioning? Oh, to see what I'm saying while muting the sound. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Dang. It's a shame. It's a shame. I'm actually quite fond of this painting now. Okie dokie, let's put one last little shape and we'll take a break. I'm gonna use a ton of lead white and a little bit of a bluish touch. Hey, Lady Death. A ton of lead white. Again, don't use it if you don't need it. Okay. Just leave it like that. Okie dokie. I'm gonna take another break, everybody. Much needed break, as the sound is kind of stressing me out, but at least I've got headphones. And I'm sorry, everybody, about that sound. I'm sorry about that. Alrighty. We will be back in 5 to 7 minutes. Welcome to 7 minutes acrylic eye with color. This is a time lapse. So the video has been sped up so that you can watch it within a approximately 7 minute time range. What you're seeing here is a black and white underpainting, again with acrylic paint. We're painting wet onto dry. However, the acrylic paint allows itself to work wet into wet within the time interval of about, I would say, 2 to 5 minutes until it's completely dry. So as you can see here, in contrast to the technique we use in oil paint, this is very much wet onto dry. I really recommend doing these studies of eyes because it helps you not only work with some anatomy, but also different structures, such as the curvature of the eye. As you can see, there is like a sphere. It has a highlight, it has light and shadow, and it has middle tones. Now you see how we're putting in planes onto the eye socket. Now this is a very, very fast-paced video, but we have done a similar one to this in oil paint, minus the color, in real time. I just want to show that you can create these gradations with acrylic, and we have several live streams and pre-recorded videos already done on the YouTube channel that shows acrylic. This is an excellent study to do when you're trying to work on your values, and then eventually it will transition into color. Remember, if you do decide to recreate any one of the paintings done on the channel, including these fast-paced studies, please post it to your social medias with the hashtag #UpariArtist. Now we're putting in values surrounding the eyes. There's a side plane underneath of the tear duct of the eye. And now we've covered the entire surface, pretty much like a cast drawing or a cast painting. And it dries within about 5 minutes or so. Now we're pushing the darks. One thing to notice is that acrylic does dry a little bit darker in the lights, but then the darks themselves will actually fade slightly. Now that transition was done wet onto wet, which means you have to mix that value within about a 2 to 5 minute time range. Now we're pushing the darks even further. And now we're starting to add some hints of color. A little bit of brown. And now we're putting in some skin tone. And the mixtures are done on a dry palette, so I'm mixing each color as I go, and then I'm adding it directly onto the surface. Wet onto dry. Again, to show you that these types of paintings can be done with acrylic paint as well. A little bit of a warmer gray for the sclera, the white of the eye. Just like we did with the underpainting, but it's much easier to add color when you have an underlayer that has careful drawing in light and shadow. Now you see we're filling in some of the mid-tones on the upper eyelid. A little bit of a yellowish color on the side plane of the eye socket. And now we're putting more of a reddish color, kind of exaggerating color a little bit. Which you're totally allowed to do, by the way, with a quick study of an eye. Real time, this video was approximately almost an hour long. So an hour condensed into about 7 minutes, a little more than 7 minutes. Now we're rounding out the eyebrow. Notice how the eyebrows are not painted on. They're literally painted on, but they're not meant to look painted on. They have soft edges, light and shadow. Now you may have seen there that the paint in the light did dry a little bit darker, but the more layers you add, the less that effect will be. Let's just say it won't be interrupting the process. The more and more layers you add, the truer the values are going to look. The values will look more accurate. Here's last minute little color changes. A little bit of blue for the highlight on the eye. Just little last minute color adjustments on this. More light on the eyebrow. So once again, this was accelerated, but we do have a monochrome oil painting eye that was done in about 5 to 7 minutes. Of course, acrylic takes a little bit longer, but this was a fun little break time video for you to show that this can also be done with acrylic. Okay, yeah, sorry I didn't enable the closed captioning before. My bad. I'll have to do more research into that topic. Alright, let's zoom in on the face. Appreciate all the likes, everybody. We made it to 20. Thanks, Celeste. Yeah, I put a darker red, uh, contrasted by a green, and then was kind of like a brown above. Yeah, neutral look is what I'm going for slightly. Still trying to push some of these pinkish colors and greenish colors, but some neutral colors for sure. Yeah, class went well. Mostly just gave some advice on a painting that he's working on. So, pretty chill. He's been with me for a long time. Uh, long before I changed my tiers, even to I want to say even before I finalized the online class playlist. So it's probably, I think he's been with me for 5 years now. Some dry paint here. Add some dry paint. Grace or Uncle Earl? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen them. But I understand. This is kind of an odd time to stream. But I'm just doing this because I'm doing this at this time because Lucy's at work. So I have the place to myself. It's just me and Hugo. Yeah, I think a lot more people were interested in these when they were just head and shoulders, or just like a painting of just a face. But like I mentioned before, I'm trying to paint things that I can sell prints of, and let's do something different on YouTube. But I may return to the usual, just paint a face and keep all this painting to myself. But I don't know. I'll figure all that stuff out later. think this is the first one in this series where we've given someone nail polish or whatever, or colored fingernails. Fingernail paints. Usually don't even paint the fingernails in there. Oh, thanks, Gigi. Thanks for that comment. It's been tough, like trying to get people interested in these different types of subjects. It's tough. I mean, I'll still do them, whether I do them on camera or not. I don't know. I'd rather do them on camera and present it to people. There's a lot of stuff though that I can't really explain as much with these. Some of it's just pushing shapes into position. It's not as procedural as a portrait, like a face. That's very procedural. There's a lot of back and forth in paintings like this. I'm glad you liked the variety. Yeah, so you'll notice with these more complicated ones, I don't quite talk as much. What is there to say? There's a little fold underneath of this pinky. You know, things like that are not as procedural, I guess. Thanks, GG. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. You know, I myself am trying to figure out how to move these shapes around in a more let's just say in an optimized way, trying to make it so that every layer that I put on adds to the finish rather than pushing things around. But there's a lot of inevitable pushing things around till you finally get the shape, the color, or the value that you want. But yeah, I do like this challenge. And I tell you what, the lead white, I'm using lead white number 2 from Rublev, so it has walnut oil. It makes it easier to control the paint. I guess just because it's so heavy, it's such a heavy color. It's like a supercharged titanium white. You can just feel the weight on it. But, you know, in some countries you can't even buy lead white paint, so I know not everyone can use it. And Lucy's calling me again. So this is the second time during a stream she's calling me, so I'm going to assume it's an emergency. I'm gonna pause. Welcome to 7 minutes acrylic eye with color. This is a time lapse. So the video has been sped up so that you can watch it within a approximately 7 minute time range. What you're seeing here is a black and white underpainting, again with acrylic paint. We're painting wet onto dry. However, the acrylic paint allows itself. Nope, she just forgot my schedule. No emergency, no emergency. So no mineral spirits, just safflower oil to thin out the paint. Though I'm not thinning it out at all. I'm just using it to clean off. So I switched from light to dark with this sable. The other one, this one's a little too beat up to apply a fine point like this. I'll zoom you out. The face is almost done. Pretty fast. I draw a little more attention to this edge. Just compositionally, it feels like it should do something more with the value range. more dried pieces of paint showing up. You know, I think maybe a little more alizarin for this. And whatever's on this brush. A little more of an intense red. Okay. So this actually went a little faster than I thought it would. I'll put some more definition on the shoulder. There's obviously a light back here, so we're using dual lighting, which I don't suggest, but that's what we're doing for this composition. Skylight, a little more blue. Okay. So it looks like we've gotten pretty far with this. May not need the whole time. Now, obviously, it looks like she's waiting for something, so I'm gonna have to add something time related to this painting. It'll probably be a watch. So we'll add a watch. She's definitely waiting for something. Somebody's late. So let's set this up to add a watch. Thanks, Hansel Dog. Before I do that, something about this red is not convincing me. It's too... It's my camera. In real life, this doesn't look that bright. Something is off. Let's kill off some of that red. My camera, it depends on your screen, but my monitor is showing this a little too saturated. And I know I didn't paint with a completely clean brush, so it shouldn't be that bright. The dress wasn't convincing me. Her right arm, more muscular. Left arm is more delicate. This is hopefully the delicate one. Yeah. It could be this is sticking out too much, like a Popeye arm. Needed to blur that out anyway. Okay, we're gonna put a clock in here. Let's use the sables to start it off. It's one of those watches, pocket watches, I guess, that has the chain. That's going to be a long chain. Let's put the watch over here. pocket watch. So it's a closed pocket watch. Hold on a second, I hear something outside. That's not good. Alrighty, everybody. I'm gonna have to cut out early. So let me finish this little watch. Somebody got home early. Alright, so yeah, depending on how things go with the schedule this week, I'll let you know. But I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, there's our little pocket watch. Last minute pocket watch. Hopefully you all enjoyed this painting. Luckily I was able to paint a lot faster, and I think that that more careful drawing is gonna be a thing with these. There's the pocket watch. Okie dokie. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the stream, everybody. Sorry we have to cut out a little early. Thank you, Gigi. And thank you, Celeste, for the super chat. Oh yeah, there's definitely a little problem going on. Alrighty, so thank you so much for joining, everybody. I wish you the very best. Hopefully, if you are on spring break, you have a good spring break. And I will see you all on the next one. Yeah, the signature is going to have to be off camera. Alrighty, take care, everybody. I'll see you next time.